the moment you've been waiting for this entire regular season. The biggest thing in the NFL that is happening this week. It's not a game. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to visit the New York Giants, his former team. My understanding is that visit is going to be Thursday and Friday. Interesting visit there. I know there's some mutual interest between certainly Odell and Von Miller, their chief recruiter.
I was really excited to record this video for you guys today because I thought today was going to be the day that I would come in front of you guys and say that Odell Beckham Jr. has officially signed with my favorite football team. But like the title of this video suggests, this situation has taken an absurd. Check out our channel memberships program or our Patreon account. It's never expected, it's always appreciated, and every penny we make goes straight back into the channel. Now that we get all of that out of the way, work! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The last time I brought you guys an Odell Beckham Jr. update, I was so confident that he was about to decide the Dallas Cowboys were his team that I even titled my video, OBJ has already made his decision. I mean, it's really between two teams in my opinion. I know he's scheduled visits with the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, and the Buffalo Bills. He's been in contact with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I do want you guys to keep in mind, while there are additional teams that could be added to the mix, those visits are the only ones that are confirmed at this point. Now, I'm going to be honest, it would be adorable to see Odell Beckham Jr. return to the New York Giants, who originally drafted him, now that they seem to be trending upwards in what was supposed to be a short rebuild this year. Turned out to be a situation where the New York Giants could potentially make it to the playoffs. And I'm going to be honest, if history is any indication for the New York Giants, there is no team in the entire NFL that is more terrifying than a New York Giants team that happens to make a wild card appearance, especially if you have zero expectations for this New York Giants team. And while I do think it would be adorable for history to repeat itself, the other two teams that OBJ could potentially join gives him significantly better odds at potentially winning a Super Bowl. The first team being the Buffalo Bills, where his glorified ring-chasing ex-teammate Von Miller has been consistently recruiting him all season long, saying it's a foregone conclusion OBJ is going to come to the Buffalo Bills so he could be the wide receiver 3 or the wide receiver 2 in a pretty star-studded wide receiver room that features OBJ, Gabe Davis, and Stephon Diggs. When you have Josh Allen slinging the rock too, that's going to be absolutely terrifying for any defense to go up against. But I don't necessarily think OBJ is trying to add another ring to his collection. I've said this multiple times, I think he just wants stability at this point. I think he wants to go to a team that'll offer him a large contract because he is now 30 years old, and this contract could potentially be his final big payday for the rest of his career. If there's a team that is kind of regretting the fact that they traded their former wide receiver 1, it's the Dallas Cowboys, Amari Cooper. I mean, it's unfortunate. I would never want any team, especially my favorite team, to make a trade that is even similar to the Amari Cooper trade, but the Dallas Cowboys unfortunately were in salary cap hell, and they had no choice but to trade Amari Cooper to the Cleveland Browns for literally pennies on the dollar. Since then, the Cowboys offense has been getting better and better. Ever since Dak Prescott has come back, with each and every game, he seems to be getting on the same page with both CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, with the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving versus the New York Giants not only being the most watched Thanksgiving football game in NFL history, with about 42 million eyes watching the Cowboys pummel the New York Giants. But in addition to this, you saw several tributes to OBJ via CeeDee Lamb making multiple one-handed receptions. I mean, I don't need to go into any more detail about the Dallas Cowboys' thirst for OBJ, and yes, it is thirst. And as a matter of fact, at the time that I'm recording this video, Adam Schefter even said that one executive on a team linked to Odell Beckham Jr. said this weekend is about a potential landing spot for the free agent wide receiver. It sounds like it will be Dallas. If you're in Vegas, your 2-1 favorite is the Cowboys, and everyone else is 5-2 or 6-1. But I've been covering free agency periods ad nauseum, bro. It rarely ever is the team you think it is, but we'll have to watch and see. The crazy thing about this video is The wild turn isn't about which team OBJ is about to choose. The wild turn is what happened to Odell Beckham Jr. on Sunday. So on Sunday, we got a pretty interesting piece of footage where OBJ was essentially getting escorted off of an American Airlines plane. So this definitely raised some eyebrows. What is going on? Why is Odell Beckham Jr. being escorted off of a plane? Well, we found out that apparently Odell Beckham Jr. was removed from a flight this morning. So the first tweet that got my attention about this situation is from Dove Kleiman, who said, "Report, free agent Odell Beckham was kicked off of a plane on Sunday. Flight crew said OBJ was in and out of consciousness and wouldn't put on his seatbelt. The flight got delayed after OBJ refused to leave, forcing everyone to get off." This tweet originally made me think it's a very serious situation. I mean, it originally came from Andy Slater saying, "Slater scoop." Bro, no offense, that is some cheesy ass shit. Like, nothing against Andy Slater, but imagine if every single time I'm about to drop some news on you guys, I say something like microphone memo or Mike's memo, or I don't know, that actually sounds pretty fire. Should we start saying that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, Odell Beckham Jr. was kicked off of a plane in Miami on Sunday. Flight crew said that the NFL wide receiver was in and out of consciousness and wouldn't put on his seatbelt, I'm told. The Los Angeles bound flight was delayed after Beckham refused to leave, making everybody get off. So yeah, when I read this originally, I'm like, holy crap, this is such a big deal. What happened to OBJ? Is he okay? Is he going to the hospital? Why would he refuse to put on his seatbelt? Like, that's a very strange situation to be in to begin with. According to Tom Pelissaro, this is what happened. At approximately 9:30 a.m., officers from the Miami-Dade Police Department were dispatched to a medical emergency at an American Airlines flight. The flight crew was concerned for a passenger, Mr. Odell Beckham, as they tried to wake him to fasten his seatbelt. He appeared to be coming in and out of consciousness prior to their departure, fearing that Mr. Beckham was seriously ill and that his condition would worsen through the expected 5-hour flight. The attendants called for police and fire rescue. Upon the officers' arrival, the flight crew asked Mr. Beckham several times to exit the aircraft, which he refused. The aircraft was deplaned, at which time Mr. Beckham was asked by the officers to exit the plane, and did so without incident. Mr. Beckham was escorted to the non-secure area of the terminal by the officers, where he made other arrangements. So that's really interesting. OBJ was in a situation where he was coming in and out of consciousness on a plane. Well, we have Odell Beckham Jr.'s attorney on the situation saying what happened. And from Odell Beckham Jr.'s perspective, this is pretty peculiar. Check this out. Earlier today, Odell Beckham Jr. boarded a morning flight into Miami without any problems. The flight was delayed after boarding, and prior to takeoff, Mr. Beckham fell asleep with his blanket over his head, which is his normal practice for long flights. He was awakened and told that the plane was back at the gate and that he needed to get off the plane because he did not put his seatbelt on when asked. He responded that he was asleep and that he would put his seatbelt on at that time. He was informed that it was too late and that either he would have to get off the plane or everyone would have to deplane. The overzealous flight attendant insisted on removing everyone from the plane instead of simply allowing Mr. Beckham to fasten his seatbelt and proceed with the flight. At no time was Mr. Beckham disruptive or combative. He was willing to comply with that seatbelt requirement, but the flight attendant wanted to prove that he had the authority to have Mr. Beckham removed from the flight. The airline proceeded to send Mr. Beckham's luggage to Los Angeles without him. That incident was unnecessary. Sleeping on a plane should not be a cause for removal from a flight. If they could wake him up when the flight returned to the gate, then they could have done the same thing to ask him to put on his seatbelt. So here's what OBJ had to say about the situation. And to be honest, I think I'm siding with Odell Beckham Jr. on this situation because we've all been in that situation. You know, that one guy that takes his job way too freaking seriously. You know, that one person that's like,
you know what, I'm gonna flex on this guy and show him who's boss.
We all know that douchebag that takes his job way too far when it's unnecessary. Look, could it have been a situation where OBJ actually was scaring some of the flight attendants because they kept shaking him awake, but he wouldn't wake up? Maybe he took something to fall asleep and it was harder to wake him up. I don't necessarily know, but this is what OBJ had to say about it. His first tweet was, "Never in my life have I experienced what just happened to me. I've seen it all. I could never make this up." Someone responded to OBJ saying, "Man loves attention." And Odell Beckham Jr. said, "LOL bro, fuck up. You don't know shit about shit or what's going on. Imagine living in a world where I just went about my way and attention came to me for doing what I was doing on the field. I never craved shit in my life, but love and peace. Enjoy your day, little homie." Which, like, damn, I kind of feel empathy for Odell Beckham Jr. in this case. His final tweet is comedy hour. So this is definitely a situation I didn't see coming. I mean, Odell was clearly just sleeping on a plane and then he had to be escorted, possibly because someone just took their job way too seriously and wanted him to exit the plane once he was awake. Or what I also think could potentially be the case is when you see a guy like OBJ not waking up when you're shaking him constantly, and then he finally wakes up, maybe his eyes are a little groggy, you might be afraid that he took something and he's in and out of consciousness, and once your flight departs for a couple of hours and he seriously needs help, there's nothing you could do, and then the airline will be viable. It could have been a situation where the airline truly didn't know what to do. I don't know, let me know what you guys think about this situation down below. I just thought it was a funny little thing to add on with all the other OBJ drama going on. Like, he's about to choose his team, and what team is he gonna go to? And oh, by the way, he got kicked out of a flight, by the way. I have plenty of more content as a result of the crazy Sunday we had, so make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications so you never miss an upload. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.